Hello YouTube, today I am going to present to you a tutorial for a variation of shrugs that I personally really like and that some people on the channel have seen me do and have asked for an explanation. So I'm going to walk towards explaining the technique to you guys, the muscles I'm targeting, and the way I'm doing the lift to get the results that I want for my upper back. So this is specifically going to target the yoke area, so the traps, the rear delts, and certain areas of the mid traps as well. You can also make some forearm gains with this. That being said, because you're going to use straps, the involvement of your grip is going to be reduced, but because it is a snatch grip, you are going to use straps. Even if you have a very strong hook grip, since you're going to go for reps with these, it's not going to be optimal. So I really advise you use them, because if you do that variation without the straps, it's going to be a different lift. Let me show you why. So a normal snatch grip shrug would be to just pick up the bar like this, in this position. So depending on your hand position due to your shoulder width, and do a normal shrug like this. This isn't terrible, but this isn't what I'm looking for here, because this is going to mainly work the upper traps. And I'm looking for a more global stimulus here. The variation I'm going to show you also works the upper traps, but it also involves the entire area of the upper back. So the way I do them, same grip, but I don't shrug up. I'm not going to focus on the contraction at the top. I'm going to focus on this position here. So in this position, both shoulders are protruded forward, all right? They're not back in the pocket anymore. I'm letting them stretch forward, and what is catching them is the traps. So the traps are working to catch the bar. And then I'm going to focus on bringing it back, squeezing back. I'm not looking to squeeze up like this. I'm going to go back and let it stretch in that position. And then reverse, and again. And that's one rep. So you start here, that's one, okay? The reason why I don't focus on the squeeze personally is because I have a nucleus overload protocol where I do shrugs, strict shrugs, focused on the squeeze and the upper traps after every pull. So I don't have to repeat that pattern when I do these. These are focused on the stretch, they're focused on heavy weight, and they are basically designed to overload the traps, because weighted stretch is extremely efficient for muscles that can take them without risk of injury. Now that I'm saying that, I think that the risk of tearing a trap on these is pretty much non-existent. That being said, one area of the body that is going to potentially be put at risk is the shoulder, because you're basically putting a lot of stress on them because they're stretched forward. But that being said, I've personally never experienced shoulder discomfort with this, because the upper back is what's stretching to catch the weight. Your shoulders aren't really involved. One thing to pay attention to is the snatch grip position, putting a lot of pressure on the bicep. You are going to find, especially when you start, that it really stretches the arm in an angle you're not used to, which is why I advise you to potentially not even consider doing that lift if you don't do snatch grips in your training. For me, I use snatch grips for a ton of lifts, and therefore I respect the principle of specificity, and my body is used to it. And if you want to do that lift regardless, even if you don't train snatch grip, I would advise start really light, even if your body has the ability to move the weight with your upper back. Why? Because your arms are serving as ropes, and if the rope snaps, it snaps. Even if it's not involved in the lift, you're still going to end up with an injury. I've never injured myself on this, but I just want you guys to be careful with this. So, another thing, of course, is you're never going to do that supinated, but that should go without saying. I shouldn't have to say that, but just in case. And you're going to use straps. So again, just as a repetition, and then I'm going to show you with heavy weight. Okay, you're going to grab the bar in a snatch grip position. you're going to bend at the knee so that you don't do this, you don't want to do this, you don't want to use your lower back. You push with the leg, you do a normal pull, and because it's a partial, it's super easy. And then from this position, you let the strap, the trap stretch forward and back, forward and back. You notice that I round the upper back to let it go like this. So a way to limit the amount of thoracic extension while still getting the angle you want is to break at the knee. And by breaking at the knee, you allow this process of ending here, right? Because if you're here and you stretch, now what stretches is the entirety of the upper back. If you're here, you're just stretching basically the upper traps, and so you want to be able to recruit everything. But the issue is that if I don't break at the knee, this is what happens. I don't think this is a good position to be in. It's not the worst. If there's a little bit of it, it's okay. But since we can mitigate the amount of thoracic rounding with a break at the knee, let's do it. And because we're not focused on the squeeze, and this is not a power shrug, when we break at the knee, when we push forward, when we do this, the straps are still stretched, right? All right? We're just assisting this so that we can transition from here to here, all right? And we get the squeeze here, let it stretch, stretch here, so that we get every single angle. Now, I'm going to show you the same lift with 300 pounds. So you can see, this is not my working weight. I'm doing that with 4 plates right now. But I want to show you what happens when you load it, right? Because ultimately, a tutorial that only shows the bar is not super useful. I need to be able to showcase the fact that the form is going to be similar here. Before we wrap up, this is safe on the lower back. It shouldn't hurt your lower back, it shouldn't hurt your legs, because it's a partial pull to start the movement. So if you feel any pain in your lower back, stop it. All right. So exactly as I said before, with straps it's the same. I'm going to strap up here, here. All right, when it's nice and tight, I get in position so that the bar is just underneath me. I pull with my legs up, and then I get it going. And when I finish on the last rep, I like to really let it stretch a little bit in that back position. That's very safe. A few feedbacks from the way it feels. You're going to feel a lot of upper traps involvement because they really stretch to catch the weight. And you're also going to feel that your mid trap, so the area that is in between your shoulder blades, is also being involved a ton. And personally, any amount of pain or discomfort I've ever felt on this was in the middle of the upper back. So just pay attention to that. I don't know if it's me, if it's just the way I'm built, but that's the way it is for me. So that pretty much wraps it up for this lift. As far as rep schemes, intensity, blah, 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 you do what you want. You can really load this thing. I personally like to stay in the 12 to 15 rep range, just because I don't want to injure my arms. And as I explained in the hypertrophy series, you can use intensity as a risk to reward ratio tool to gauge whether you should go high reps or low reps. On this, for me, high reps. Always, I get a nice pump, a nice stretch, and I can mitigate any potential injury risk because I can always feel the extra rep that might be too costly coming. I do 4 sets of these, so it's 4 sets of 15, and of course, I do evolving rep ranges. So that's it. Let me know in the comments if there are certain things I didn't cover. I will be happy to answer to you. And if you give this a try, please give me your feedback and let me know how it felt. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.